I'm knocking this guy out, becoming the CEO of Matchroom Boxing and changing the plans, and it's going to be me versus Tyson Fury next year.
Yeah, if I'm going to be honest, I'm going to break his face, I'm going to break his body up, I'm going to stomp all over him. That's my mentality, right? That's a fighter's mentality, and I know what's in my heart, I know what's in my mind, and I'm here to compete. I'm here to prove myself that I'm the better fighter, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'll do that until I finish fighting.
So apparently Jake Paul doesn't believe in normal fight prep anymore because he just teamed up with Mike Tyson to get ready for Anthony Joshua. I walked into the gym and immediately questioned reality. Tyson is treating Jake like some secret weapon he's building in a lab, and Jake is absorbing it like Wi-Fi. If Anthony Joshua isn't panicking yet, he should be. Stay tuned, because what I saw next felt equal parts genius and madness.
What do you think about Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua?
Realistically, it's one of the craziest propositions of all time. You take a guy who just had a boxing match that looks like a sparring match with a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, and then you're going to fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division. Maybe we should watch the Francis Ngannou fight so you can see. Let's watch that real quick, just so you can see what Anthony Joshua is capable if he's fighting someone that's not in his league.
Jake Paul is training with Mike Tyson ahead of a fight with Anthony Joshua. Yes, that sentence exists in real life, and not in some alternate timeline where scientists mix boxing with random chaos to test what the universe can tolerate.
And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
If someone ever writes a history book about 21st century boxing, this chapter will definitely require footnotes, diagrams, and possibly therapy. Of course, everyone remembers when Jake and Tyson were punching each other on live television not too long ago.
I consider Jake now, I wouldn't consider him like a YouTube fighter no more. I feel like he put in the time. He gotten better throughout like all his fights. Like he done got better throughout all those fights, But it's still like when you fighting like fighters who actually like done it for like their whole life, it's a little different. If that fight happened, it'll be a good money fight. It'll be a good money fight. But that's a tough task for, Jake going to get that big ass heavyweight AJ.
Not because people were thrilled to see the art of boxing, but because there was a non-zero chance Tyson would accidentally flash back to his prime and Jake would suddenly become a limited edition action figure.
These two guys are worlds apart. You have to respect Jake Paul for stepping up to the plate and actually going through with this fight, because I'm still trying to give my head a wobble on this whole situation. Going, what are you actually doing?
I respect Jake Paul for what he's done. I never thought that you'd talk like this about boxing, but we do. I respect Jake Paul because he's come over to another industry. He's made the other industry make him a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And he's actually helping a lot of female fighters and women boxing as well by putting his promotion on. So I respect him massively. But if Anthony Joshua was to lose to Jake Paul, it would be the biggest upset, travesty, whatever you want to call it, in boxing history. So he has to look past Jake Paul.
The fight was arguably the most stressful experience America has had since the McRib got discontinued. And yet, here we are, pretending the most logical next step was the two of them training together like a wholesome father-son bonding montage. Except the father is a legendary destroyer of worlds, and the son is a YouTuber turned fighter whose superpower is manifesting ridiculous things into reality. And now, Mike Tyson, the once terrifier of men and collector of professional boxing souls, is apparently on a mission to help Jake Paul transform into the heavyweight end boss. This is either the greatest resurrection arc ever or a scientific experiment gone horribly right. Tyson isn't just showing Jake how to punch harder. No. Tyson is unlocking new layers of chaotic violence that should probably require a permit. Imagine your Wi-Fi connection suddenly getting an upgrade from barely works to download a full movie in 1.2 seconds. That's basically Jake's left hook now. The funniest part? The authorities didn't step in. There's no boxing police pulling Mike aside like, "Sir, we're going to need you to turn down the generational trauma training by at least 30%. Nope. Jake is willingly absorbing everything. Tyson throws advice, and Jake catches it like someone collecting infinity stones to become the heavyweight version of Thanos.
You look forward to facing off with Joshua. To break down the face-off, what do you think about his size? Did you say anything? Did he say anything?
No, we didn't say anything, but he looks intense, focused, locked in. He's obviously very, very tall. Looking up, my tallest opponent. My eyes are at his, chest level. But yeah, he's locked in. I'm locked in. I don't think there's fear in his eyes or in my eyes.
Yeah, Jake, tell us the difference between your face-off with Gervonta, where you're a head taller looking down, and now looking up at Joshua.
No, it's surreal. All of it is very, very funny, and my neck started to hurt after looking up for a little bit. But this is what we signed up.
And the gym footage? Unreal. Tyson is pacing around like a scientist discovering a new chemical weapon. Jake is smiling like a kid who just found a cheat code that works in real life. Every time Tyson barks a command, Jake produces a punch that sounds like thunder and makes the punching bag consider early retirement. There is no universe where this should be happening logically, yet here we are, pretending this is just another Tuesday. The dynamic between Jake and Tyson is unbelievable when you remember they used to beat the absolute enthusiasm out of each other. Most people fight and never talk again. These two fight and then become a tag team of chaos. It's like if Batman and the Joker shook hands afterward and decided to open a self-improvement seminar for villains. Their relationship has evolved from potential fatality risk to mentor and apprentice on a mission to terrify Anthony Joshua. And let's talk about Anthony Joshua. The man is probably somewhere minding his own business, doing squats, drinking a protein shake, and the universe suddenly hits him with the news. Jake Paul is being trained by Mike Tyson. Imagine trying to sleep knowing that someone, somewhere is learning how to punch via the exact same guy who basically traumatized the entire heavyweight division for 20 years. If Joshua has a group chat with his coaches, it probably looks like emojis of panic, fire, and refund requests. Tyson isn't training Jake to be fancy. No flashy footwork for Instagram likes, no punching air for dramatic slow-motion edits.
So if you notice at the start of the face-off, Jake is looking down at his chest.
Yeah.
Jake had said to me that he was going to motorboat him. He was going to do this to his chest. And I said, Jake, I'm not sure that makes a lot of sense, man. Like, this is a pretty intense situation, but up to you. You obviously make your own call. So I think in that moment, he was actually like considering doing that. And then upon reflection, probably thought, okay, let me just look up versus doing this. That I think is what happened with Jake there. From my perspective, I was just looking at the size difference. I mean, it was pretty dramatic, right? 6'6" versus 6 foot / 6'1". But I thought they were both stoic. I was watching both of their eyes, and neither blinked once.
Tyson is teaching Jake in a way that feels personal, as if he wants Jake to graduate from merely winning fights to collecting souls. The drills look like military training if the military was preparing for a war against gravity itself. Tyson's voice goes off, Jake swings, and somewhere in the world, drywall develops cracks. But the real twist is how much they genuinely like each other now. It's weirdly wholesome in a chaotic way. They fought. Jake survived. Tyson said, "You're all right." Now Tyson looks at Jake like a proud war general training the next unhinged champion of destruction. Jake looks at Tyson like he discovered the world's deadliest Google search result in physical form. Their chemistry is so strangely aligned that you just know this partnership is fueling Jake's overconfidence in the most entertaining way possible. Jake Paul truly believes, and this time he actually might not be delusional, that he could become the next huge thing in the heavyweight division. Not just kind of good or surprisingly competent, but the heavyweight problem that keeps people awake at night. The idea sounds insane, until you watch Tyson molding him like a sculptor shaping a wrecking ball. It's almost poetic when you compare their beginnings. Tyson started life fighting everything that walked. Jake started life filming everything that moved. Now they've merged into some sort of boxing Pokemon evolution. Tyson gives Jake disciplined rage. Jake gives Tyson a reminder of what confidence looks like before the world takes it away. Together, it's basically a prophecy that boxing fans either fear or can't look away from.
Man, I'm here for the vibes. I'm here for the fight. Usyk's one of my favorite fighters, him or David Benavidez. So here to enjoy and just have some fun tonight here in Wembley.
Come on, put some meat on the bones of you and Anthony Joshua. Is it happening or not?
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I want it to happen here. All the odds stacked against me. I believe that I will beat him and shock the world and create one of the biggest upsets in boxing history.
Tyson Fury was saying he put $1 million on you beating Anthony Joshua.
I seen that. He's backing me. He's a smart lad.
And to be fair, Jake isn't slacking. He trains like someone who knows the internet will roast him for eternity if he loses. Motivation comes in many forms, and Jake's is apparently the fear of becoming a meme. Tyson pushes the sessions to the point where sweat becomes a lifestyle. Jake follows along like someone who refuses to be the disappointing student in class because the teacher can literally kill him with a glare. Anthony Joshua has never in his life had to prepare for a Jake Paul version 2.0 powered by Tyson rage coding. That's like preparing for a cat and getting attacked by a lion trained in tactical warfare. If Jake actually lands Tyson-level bombs on Joshua, boxing historians are going to have to rewrite everything. Now here's where things get extra interesting. The boxing community doesn't know whether to laugh, panic, or buy tickets. Half the community is convinced Jake is about to learn a painful life lesson. The other half suddenly remembers what happened when everyone confidently doubted him before, and they're quietly eating popcorn in case history decides to troll us again. Jake Paul has become the main character in a story no one agreed to write, yet we all keep reading. The guy has mastered publicity like a video game. Every unexpected decision somehow becomes the next plot twist. People tune in to watch him lose, he wins, they get mad, the internet explodes, and then he levels up again. Now Tyson is upgrading him with heavyweight violence DLC. Let's take a moment to appreciate how weird this universe has become. If in 2016 someone said, in the future, Jake Paul will be trained by Mike Tyson to fight Anthony Joshua, the only logical reaction would have been to check their temperature and hide their car keys.
I think this is I think if Jake Paul beats Anthony Joshua, I think it's one of the biggest upsets in the history of boxing. The odds wouldn't suggest that, but are you telling me that Jake Paul was more accomplished than Buster Douglas? He wasn't. And I'm not going to get into like what's the bigger upset, but like this is a Herculean task on his hands. Anthony Joshua is still a very, very good fighter. His last fight was for the belt, and there is nothing in Jake Paul's resume that would suggest that he can knock him out or beat him, but he's going to go for it, and I have a lot of respect for him, for picking this opponent, because he could have picked anyone.
But here we are. Tyson showing Jake the sacred ancient art of making men rethink life with one punch. And Tyson's investment isn't just physical. He believes, somehow, that Jake can become the next heavyweight sensation. Maybe Tyson sees something. Maybe he knows Jake has the exact level of delusion required to win at this game. Boxing isn't just about power. It's about obsession, ego, insanity, and refusal to quit, even when everything screams otherwise. And Jake, for better or worse, has all four. Meanwhile, every heavyweight contender probably has Jake's name muted on social media while secretly checking his progress in the gym at 3 a.m. like, ugh, not this again. Because winning against Jake isn't even just winning a boxing match anymore. It's fighting an entire storyline, an audience, and a universe that bends reality for content. The stakes? Massive. If Jake loses, critics get to throw the biggest parade of I told you so since the invention of opinions. So what do we realistically expect to happen? No one knows. That's the beauty of this madness. Jake might get flattened. He might shock the entire world. He might do both in the same fight. He might get rocked in round 1 and then turn into a final boss in round 5. Everything is on the table when Tyson coaching is involved.
And I think his biggest thing about that is as long as it's a real fight, it is what it is. I don't really like exhibitions. I said, no, there is no way we're doing an exhibition. And by the way, I mean, the most ludicrous thing I still see in the comments is, I bet there's something in the agreement where AJ has to go easy on him. Oh, you couldn't be further from the truth, mate. I mean, exactly the opposite, right? So anyway, Netflix, everybody's on board, and then boom, Jake signs. And it's like, what are you doing?
And whether you love Jake, hate Jake, laugh at Jake, root for Jake, or schedule your entire weekend to boo Jake, you're watching. Everyone is watching. Because somehow, the guy who was once known for making chaos videos in Los Angeles is now training to potentially knock out a former unified heavyweight champion under the mentorship of one of the most violent athletes ever created. This isn't just a boxing match anymore. It's a blockbuster movie that doesn't care about logic. The underdog isn't supposed to be an internet star. The mentor isn't supposed to be a once-in-a-generation fighter who once frightened professional monsters for a living. The potential victory isn't supposed to threaten the entire heavyweight hierarchy. Yet here we are, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson arm in arm, marching into the heavyweight division like it's a theme park they bought tickets to. If Jake somehow pulls this off and beats Anthony Joshua using Tyson's blueprint, there won't be enough microphones in the world for post-fight interviews. Boxing analysts will malfunction. Fans will cry, celebrate, or combust. Tyson will smile like a wizard proving magic is real. And Jake Paul will stand in the center of the ring knowing he just did the most Jake Paul thing ever. Break the Matrix again. And whether that terrifies you or entertains you, It's happening. Because deep down, even the biggest Jake Paul critic knows something uncomfortable. The man refuses to follow the script that everyone writes for him.
What do you say to the people who say Anthony is ruining his legacy just by taking this fight?
Fans don't respect what he's done in the sport already. He's an Olympic gold medalist, 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world.
I sort of sympathize with him because I feel like if he doesn't beat him quicker than he beat Francis, people are just going to write it off. I'll ask you bluntly, have there been any discussions about there's an agreement, there's a secret contract? Have any of those discussions happened regarding this fight?
It's an 8-round professional fight. AJ wouldn't have taken it if that was the stance it had to be, if it was an exhibition, if it was you've got to hold him up for 8 rounds. It wouldn't suit Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is going in there to knock out Jake Paul.
Tell him he can't fight, he knocks someone out. Tell him he can't headline an arena, he sells it out. Tell him there's no way he can survive getting punched by Mike Tyson, and the next thing you know, Tyson is handing him the keys to the heavyweight division like a proud father gifting his son a sports car. Except the car is a weapon, and the son has no intention of driving slowly. And now, Jake has the Tyson mentality uploaded to his brain like software. Not the calm, spiritual Tyson we see in interviews. No, Jake got access to peak-era, break-everything Tyson. Imagine Jake walking into training camp with Anthony Joshua's name written on the wall in giant red letters while Tyson stands behind him reminding him that fear is an illusion and pain builds character. Joshua isn't just fighting Jake. He might be fighting a new disciple of the Church of Maximum Violence. And honestly, this whole partnership feels like destiny if boxing had a sense of humor. Tyson once represented unstoppable destruction. Jake represents unstoppable marketing. Combine the two, and you get a fighter the world can't ignore even if they try. It doesn't matter if Jake gets love or hate. Attention is the currency, and he's a billionaire. Some fans are already preparing emotionally in case Jake wins.
There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky. I like how Jake Paul calls out the full spectrum from featherweight to heavyweight.
They're mentally constructing excuses in advance. Well, Joshua must have been distracted, or the planets were misaligned, or Tyson probably hypnotized Jake. Anything, to avoid saying Jake Paul simply got good. Meanwhile, Tyson is out there smiling, fully aware that he is planting chaos into the heavyweight landscape like a farmer growing panic. There is nothing Mike loves more than proving people wrong. And now he has a fighter who thrives on the exact same thing. The day those two shook hands, the universe should have issued an evacuation warning. So now we wait. We wait to see if Jake Paul becomes the heavyweight glitch in the Matrix, the guy who was supposed to be a joke but somehow hacked his way into the top tier with sponsorships, ambition, and pure stubbornness. Win or lose, this fight is going to shift boxing in some direction. For better or worse, Jake Paul isn't leaving the sport quietly, and with Mike Tyson powering the machine behind him, the story is only getting louder.